Healing comes in many forms, all the colors aligned. You are free as a dove when you choose, a sovereign state of being.
And allow this product to work with the 7 color chakras in our own energy system.
Meditations can trigger DNA wisdom and memories in light, out-creating our limited chemical memories. So sit back, relax, as we take you on a journey of light and color.
Hello, everybody. It's Amy Kruzic, and welcome to the Talking Stick Show. I have taken the reins of the phallus host, Dale Tobin, today to introduce everybody on the panel here. We have Laura Massey and Maty Waller and Andrew Bartzis, and of course, David Ellis has joined us today. Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Amy.
Queen of the phallus.
Queen of the phallus. Well, I had to say that. Dale's on vacation, by the way, with his beautiful family. So we're taking over. We're taking it over, Dale.
We've got your show. We've got your show.
We're taking it over. So I forget the title of the show.
The title of the show is No Spiritual Pain, No Spiritual Gain. Is this true?
What do you think, Maty?
I think absolutely it's true.
Yeah.
Massey, you're being true. Not all circumstances is there pain have gain.
No.
There have been many positive moments that we have gained immensely with no pain behind them. But it's the painful ones that make memories we never forget.
Why is that?
When is the last time we had wonderful, beautiful expansion that lasted for weeks, and we forgot all about it when that next pain came around to have the next pain?
Yeah.
And this is quite related to Lionsgate as well.
Yeah.
I think this time.
Well, it's a cycle. Lionsgate is just another cycle. That which you do not deal with in the past will come to you in the present.
Yeah.
And until you learn your lesson and get the growth from it, it will come back again.
And it can come in the form of pain. It can come in the form of wisdom. It can come in the form of whatever you need as the teacher in the moment for you to see the character flaw that's not being looked at.
Or all of them mixed together over a period of time.
Yeah. Maty, recently you've been letting go of the warrior and trying to be the peacemaker, and you've got all these little former selves of yours going, I want war.
Literally.
I do have mixed feelings about that statement, because I feel that if we say, yes, no spiritual pain, no spiritual gain, the self-flagellating idiots with no sense of humor are going to take it way too seriously. And we don't need 2 sticks up their ass as opposed to 1 stick up their ass. I know this is the Talking Stick show, but that stick is for talking. That stick is not for blocking energy.
Yeah.
Well, this is,
and the
this
other thing is the fake it to makers will go, I don't have to have pain to gain, therefore I'm gaining every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. There's no correct answer for any of it. It's different for each person.
Yeah.
Each person's individual.
You can gain every day. You can gain every day with your spiritual practice and your prayers and so on, which aren't painful. But if you're going to do the inner work and get the growth, then sometimes there is going to be a lot of discomfort and degrees of discomfort as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to step out of that comfort zone at times. and it's not always easy. And the more you hold on to it, what do you think, guys? The more you hold on to it, the more painful it's going to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. The more that people think they have control of their reality, the harder the eruption is later down the road, where something has to come out of you some way, somehow, and the avalanche of pain and anger and frustration, you put it onto someone else, and the next thing you know, the garden you tried to create with other people and other collaborations are destroyed because you couldn't control your own emotional avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that show itself, Andrew, at times?
Well, we see it online all the time.
Yeah.
People have
I'm sorry.
Out. Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is shown itself in the last 2 to 3 months in full view. It's like something has passed, and we have seen people who have taken this spiritual pain, spiritual gain thing to a whole new level. To be quite honest with you, you don't have to. Spiritual pain is there for you to learn and grow, not for you to indulge in and like become like spiritual masturbators, right? And I say this in all earnest because a lot of people they get into this thing where spirituality is this serious thing. It is a very serious matter. They lose their sense of humor. When you go on this, when you see some of these online shows, nobody's laughing because we're talking about serious stuff here.
It's a bunch of crown chakra masturbators.
Yeah,
stroking their crown of this, waiting for the crown of erupted cum.
But they also
and pain is. Sorry. Pain is a symptom that something needs to change, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. And so what it is when it arises is, do you act on that pain and then make the changes that are necessary? And it's up to you how quick that process is. But it's certainly not a thing to sit in. You don't sit in that pain and say, I'm doing my spiritual work, I'm doing my shadow work, and just convince yourself through, I've forgotten the word now, but just convince yourself that you're doing the work when you're absolutely not. Denial, just sitting in denial.
And those who won't take on that responsibility then become the victims. They see themselves as the victim.
Often they become the victimizers first. And once they've victimized enough people, they become the victim because people victimize them back, because it's an endless cycle of victim-victimizer.
Instead of stepping up to the
it's
responsibility.
kind of funny. Some of that is cultural, because there's the sannyas in India as an example, right? So a lot of the spiritual people feel that part of their spiritual gain, and you see the thing about it in the Gita itself, it says fruit of action is a sin, meaning that action that you take for like going to heaven, I'll be good if I go to heaven, that in and of itself is a sin. But for spiritual people, they feel that they have to be poor and destitute in order to gain some spiritual boons. And I'm like, no, you're just poor and destitute. Actually, that's what you are.
Especially wealthy people. They seem to think that, oh, this is my burden, or this is the thing I need to shed in order to become, a spiritual person. That's terribly destructive for those people.
And then there are the people out there who are the serial do-it-yourselfers because they have no money forever for anything. I will create my own spiritual teachings. I'll take it from this teacher and that teacher. I will do it myself to the detriment of their own growth. To the point their ego convinces them they can teach themselves how to run a computer program, read analytics, write marketing, and understand everything, when in fact they have a minuscule brain with a minuscule understanding of the bigger world out there.
I mean, independence has its place, but I think we need to get together in a community like we're doing, because we all help each other. We post each other's shows. We do all sorts of things in this particular community, and it's expanding, and some people leave and the right people come in. And I think that's just the cycle of it. That's the nature of it, isn't it?
Sure. The wheat and the chaff will be separated.
Yes, and I want to take this to another level. When I was young, I don't know about any of y'all, I used to have nightmares, remember? And like demons would come into your nightmares and try to terrorize you and stuff like that. And I just want to say that even otherworldly entities, they lose their sense of humor as well. Because imagine a demon comes into your dream, right? Let's run the scenario. He comes into your dream. I am Azazel, keeper of the 9 keys of misery. I am here to torture you. And you just burst out laughing in his face because of the introduction, right? Right. Listen, sometimes when you get that pain, you're supposed to take that pain and turn it into something productive. Me, I have a problem. I turn everything into laughter. That has been an issue that's just for me. But generally speaking, I think a lot of people take themselves too seriously. They've been attacked. They've been. This is just a little bit of advice for those of you who think that somehow people are psychically attacking you, not to mention any names or anything. But for those of you out there that believe that we're attacking your dogs and stuff, take everything with a grain. Take everything with a grain of salt. Learn to laugh at the pain that you're in, because the worst thing about pain is that I don't know if you guys have experienced it. If you hurt yourself and you concentrate on it, it amplifies that pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As for the pain that's out there and the supposed fake attacks, Maddie, recently you've been experiencing these versions of you who don't want to give up being a warrior, addicted to being it.
Mm-hmm.
What's it been like with you as you're dealing with those former selves who want to enforce the old way?
Well, the first thing is how incredibly powerful they are. That was the first thing that really struck me, because with the kind of psychic work that I do, it must attract a lot of attention in other places and spaces. But I'm always very, very good at dealing with that. But these just overcome me. I mean, it was just like, it was like energy pressing in on me, so dense, so hard, so fast that I felt like my heart was about to stop, and I was in trouble because I've been out there doing things, and I thought my time had come. I really did, and that is how strong and potent it was. But I must say that I've been feeling it over the coming weeks as an interference in the crown chakra. That's what it feels like to me, like a brrr interference. But now that I'm aware of it, every time one of these thoughts comes in, yeah, absolutely, that's what it's like. And one of these sort of thoughts or feelings comes in, then I'm aware of it, and it just goes more and more distant and more and more distant. There is some ceremony to be done, absolutely. There is some prayer to be done, but just the awareness of it alone is already beginning to dissipate some of the densest of the energies.
Hey, Amy, I have a question for you.
Okay. You love questions.
Yes, I do love questions. Yeah, call me the question. Okay, no, seriously. In your experience of spiritual gain versus spiritual pain, you had to come a long way to end up on this show with these weird people. And I say these weird people, I didn't include myself in that. You had to come a long way to end up on this show. Tell me, what is your growth? What has it been like?
Exponential. I started Andrew's mentorship in January, first one, and then the second one, and then I'm taking the third one. And lately, I would like to share, like, I didn't even understand this until now. Sorry.
Okay.
Take your time.
We love you.
Yeah, we do.
And we got nowhere to go. That's why we're here.
Exactly.
Okay, so, and I'm not crying about, I'm crying about her.
Where's she?
That's me.
Oh shit. Bring that up to the camera again.
And I discovered the power of my positive shadow work. And I discovered that Amy, at 8 years old, and her innocence, she didn't mature along. And so now I take over my adult kind of innocence now. I understand it now, because I didn't understand the innocence that I have, and that I've carried that essence with me, but I didn't grow with it. And it's just coming to my awareness now.
I'm going through exactly the same process, but slightly different, and it's really deep. really deep. So it's like the most wounded parts of me are the child that was wounded, and that child's coping mechanisms, and it, and I just couldn't see it. It was in everything.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you don't have people around you to help you understand these things, you can't see it yourself.
No, or you can.
You
just know that you feel off, don't you? You know that something isn't right. You're tearful. I mean, like you're tearful. Things are coming to the surface more easily. And you know that there's something that is putting you out of balance. Another part of yourself that you haven't addressed, or an old part of yourself you haven't let go of. And this is the time it's all coming up. And then when you have like Andrew as a guest staying with you, just in case you haven't noticed, he will point it out to you.
I can't help it.
No, I know.
But the thing is with these inner child traumas is that, they come from childhood, which means that they have plenty of time to perpetuate other damage as they go along your life and branch into other programs. And, it's like the seed that grows the root and the tree.
Okay, but you see, how do you see that? Because I thought innocence meant a whole nother word. I didn't know that there was a positive shadow work. Like, I can do this with grace. I can do this with the love within her. Like, she still has it. We still have that innocence in us, in me.
So, Amy, it took an emotional avalanche from somebody else who tried to wipe out your existence for you to stand up for your innocence and say no more.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I don't deserve it. I've done nothing to deserve it.
Somebody who had no innocence and only aggression and anger.
Yeah, and that does not feel good.
No. And that's where you discover the power of positivity within the shadow. The shadow wants to defend you. It wants a continuous battle with you. But if somebody comes in and ruins you, the shadow gets pissed and will work with you.
Yeah, I didn't know that, Andrew. That was what was so cool. Was like, what? I thought shadow work was this dark little thing that you have to battle. But no, you bring it in as grace and love, and it's just like that's why I had to stare at her. And just say, like, we're together now. And I thank you for protecting me as a child, because she protected my innocence, but we didn't grow together.
Yeah, but in that moment, you were able to grow together.
Yeah, and that's what put the fire in my belly, and just like, let's go, let's do this, let's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you retasked it, Amy. That's what we said earlier, wasn't it? You retasked the shadow.
I did. So, without a community, I honestly, would I don't know. I wouldn't be who I am right here in this moment. I know that.
It helps you grow, whether it's with pain or without pain.
Yeah. So that spiritual pain actually did a positive spiritual gain.
Yeah, but it comes down to your strength of character as well, Amy, because just like you've seen, some people, as the going gets tough, they get going.
Yeah.
It's about sticking with it and sticking with it and sticking with it, no matter how painful or embarrassing or tragic it gets, because there is beauty behind it.
And you think you can help, that hopium that you always talk about, Andrew, I think I had that, like, there's hope. And then you forget about, well, wait a minute. You don't even check in with yourself, because you just have this hope of this pattern of hope. I know exactly what it feels like. Instead of bringing that kind of like that power behind it. If that makes sense.
I want to talk about hopium for a second and how I learned about hopium at a very young age. And it's a sports reference. So I grew up a Cleveland Browns fan, watching it with my parents or my dad or the family members. And they were known as the cardiac kids back then. And you had to wait till the last minute to watch the game to see if they won. And then the team started to suck for years in a row. Like 15 straight years, the worst team in the year. What that created is they're down 52 points and there's 6 minutes left. They can still win. Bullshit.
No.
Bullshit. It's technically, mathematically impossible unless the other team fumbles 9 times in a row. That I would stick to the last second until finally my opium was broken because the team had been worthless for 15 years. Okay?
Yeah. Can I say something? The first skill that you learn as a spiritual person, I think, in terms of the qualities of your character, is resilience. Because you're going to get knocked to shit down. That is for certain. And you better be able to get back up.
Yeah, absolutely. I always remember that there is that flame in my heart that's growing, that eternal flame, and that I have that responsibility to the ancestors, 7 past and 7 future generations, when you know you're not doing it just for yourself as well, and that you have so much support from your ancestors. That is something to draw on.
Yeah.
It's like the Chumbawamba song, you get knocked down, but I get back up again. That song's always been in my background. Okay, sure, knock my ass down. Watch me get up and kick your ass afterwards. Okay, you might have sucker punched me, but I'm going to make sure I'm right up in your face afterwards.
You got to ask yourself, honestly, like when people see shows like this and they see us on the thing, and they think we're just talking a bunch of theory. No, we're not. No. You got to ask us when you say, oh, do you have resilience? Have you ever gotten knocked down? You mean like today? Because that's like a common thing. We get knocked down, we get back up again. That's just how it is. Okay? And it's become a reflex now, so that like when things knock us down, it's like we don't even know we're up. Oh, I'm back up. How did that happen? And a lot of spiritual people do not have this on board. They get knocked down and they stay down. They roll around and they whine. Okay? There's no point in whining. There's another aspect of this, and that's the fear aspect. A lot of people don't jump into certain spaces because they're afraid.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. I agree with that. But you know what? With me, it's always been this push that I feel like I don't even have to think about it. It's like, yeah, do that. Yeah, do that. And it's always built it up rather than tear it down. It's always been a positive experience, I have to say. You know, for me, it has. I've never really had bad experience, but I do want to mention something. I don't know why this is coming to mind, but I had a session with Maddie, psychic surgery session, and I never asked you this question, Maddie, but you said, and this is the unseen stuff that we don't see. You said I had a spirit scar. I have no idea what that is, but you said it was here inside. And how do we, you remedied it and you helped me with it, but how do we, like, I didn't even know that was happening. And maybe this is the scar that is healing right now. Well,
maybe. I'm at a point where I'm beginning to see new things in my own healings. So after we've been working with these new methodology that we are, it's given me a new level of awareness, a new ability to see further, and it's taught me other ways to light people up to get more clarity. And so really these are just things that I'm beginning to see on a deeper level than I did before. And I'm not like Andrew, where I can look at something and instantly know exactly where it's come from or wherever. I'm more of a surgeon. Like, I see things. I know. I have a knowingness of whether it should be there or not, and then I remove things. And if sometimes there's an expansion into them, sometimes there isn't. And in that process, I was just giving you as much surgery as I could for your money. And just going through. So I didn't dwell on it. But I see. But this is not. It's not an uncommon thing. You wouldn't believe the kind of things that I see on everybody.
Yeah.
All of us.
Okay. All of us have those spirit scars.
All kinds of different things. That's just one thing of many. It's just like a human body, but infinite.
Because you don't feel the pain, whatever that scar was. If you do the spiritual pain, that I didn't even know that I had that pain. No. That turned into a scar.
What about the people that don't have pain and think that they have pain and they wear it? I want you people to understand that you can manifest pain in your life. Huh?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, some people walk around like I'm so put upon. Like, Dale is in the chat asking me, what does it mean to, what does it mean if you feel the need to wear a unicorn head on shoes? Let me give you this little bit. Listen. So there are some people in the community that take this spiritual persona way too far. They want to be able to do like these priests back in the mid 17th century, walk around with whips and whip themselves, right? And so they make an orgy of pain, a display of it, an ostentatious display of how much in pain they are for their spiritual things. I've lost my wife, I've lost my mother, I've lost my kids, right? But I am true to myself and I will be on the spiritual path. Maybe you lost them because you're just an asshole. That is a possibility. Maybe you lost them because you're arrogant. Maybe you lost them because they can't handle you. Okay? Maybe you lost them because when they're sitting at a dinner table and you talk, everybody's, how's your day today? Oh, I went to school. How's your day today? I went to work. How's your day today? I went to the astral realm and I saw XYZ. Okay, you can say that. There's no point in hiding your stuff from your family. When it crosses over into, I need y'all to validate my experiences, and you push it down people's throats, then people are going to react, and then you're going to lose something. You're going to lose your association. You're going to lose your friends. You're going to lose other things, especially when you have a serious stick up your ass, which I am dead set against, because there's a whole bunch of people that serious stick up their ass with the spirituality nonsense. And I say the spirituality nonsense, and I say it with all respect towards spirituality, right? Because the best way to get your family to get into spirituality is by leading a life of joy yourselves.
Totally.
Too many people have the talking stick so far up their ass they never speak.
Yeah.
Never let their true pain out. Never let themselves vent what's going on in their reality. Never let a prayer out. Never let a peep out. Never let anyone knowing what's going on with the pains inside of them. And they wonder why they're alone.
And that shit does create spirit scars. That shit does create spirit scars.
Is it sometimes they don't understand what's going on as well inside? Confusion.
Which is why they should do their work a lot more, because lack of awareness means that you don't know what's going on. You run into all sorts of different things. Like a lot of people are surprised by their own selves. You know that, right? Like they wake up one morning and they realize, oh shit, I'm in pain. When did that happen?
So David, we have a question for the audience members. Symmetry of Health asks, David Ellis, what does it mean if you feel the need to wear a unicorn horn on your head on live shows?
It means that you are pretending dread. You are pretending, right? Real pretending. What is that? Your antenna? Listen to me. I honestly, I have seen some things in my life. Okay, spirituality is not about being able to quote the Gematria or some deep spiritual book from somewhere from God knows how long. It's not about the intellectual knowledge you have about this, that, and the third, right? And spirituality is not about the clothes that you wear or whatever else, right? It is about how people see you. Are you a helpless person? Then you ain't spiritual, all right?
It winds me up because, I'm well into light language. Light language is one of my favorite things. And I just cannot watch other people's videos because there's some on TikTok and things, but as soon as they come on and they're all got the makeup on and their hair and everything's done and there's sparkles everywhere and they're doing all of that, and you're like, even though it may be genuine, for me, that kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit callous towards it because, of my own experience in 2013, 2014 and so forth. But it just loses all interest for me as soon as they put that behind it.
I love sparkles. I love sparkles.
Another one. Now, David and I have had a long-going thing about people's websites when you find a website that's a feminist doing feminine spirituality, and they're in a white dress with their tits and their ass hanging out, knowing full well whoever marketed this website marketed it to her vanity, not to her spirituality.
Yeah.
How many websites have you seen the woman in the flowing dress and the hair and the beautiful pictures, and she paid $25,000 for that website because her ass looks good in that dress? Has
And calling
nothing to
herself
do with the content.
and calling herself Alpha Goddess.
Alpha Goddess, yes.
Oh,
Alpha God. I don't look.
This is a real,
The cringe level,
this is
the
a
cringe.
real thing. This is a real thing going on in the industry. And if anybody out there taking offense, your material will speak more than your body.
Yeah.
Believe me, your material will speak more than your body. My fat ass has proven that for 10 fucking years. All right? Your material will speak more than your body. Yes, we must take care of our bodies. Yes, you must look beautiful. But when the center of your webpage is your tits hanging out with quotes underneath your tits, join my membership club, we wonder if it's an OnlyFans club.
oh,
And do you know what the thing is as well? Even because you know, women know this about men. We will notice anything that you give off, any little sexual signal that you give. We will notice it. Okay, so it doesn't matter even if it's just a sly one. And as soon as you do that, and us as practitioners and as men, we pick up on that vibe you're giving off. You lose all credibility.
That's right.
Unless, of course, you have a spiritual OnlyFans page, then you can mint money.
Your $100 a month club.
I honestly look, and I keep saying one of these days we're going to come on here, and we're going to come in full character, full regalia. All right, you're going to come with a turban, Andrew, because that would just look so sick on you.
Yeah, it would.
Or you're going to have to come.
I'll be Saladin.
it could be Karnak.
No, Saladin.
Amy, we have your wardrobe set out.
Oh, do you? What is this?
It has wings and everything. We got your wardrobe set out.
Okay, you know
got
me
angel
well.
wings and stuff like that. All right, so we got to come on. Look, all of this pretense and stuff. When we're talking about spiritual pain and spiritual gain, the gain, all right, the pain is measurable. All right, you can say I'm in pain from a 1 to a 10. Okay. If you are experiencing a lesson that is at a 3, as an example, let's say you have a schism or a slight argument with your significant other, okay? And then it barrels over into, I don't want to live like this. So you're about to lose your, so it increases and it increases. There is an opportunity in there because pain is usually increases to bring you to a confluence point. But in the increase, there's the opportunity for course correction, right? Which people never seem to get, right?
Which is evolution.
Like just course correct somewhere in the middle, right? But then I'm looking at people like in the last, year, I've been looking at the opportunities people have had for course correction and, oh my God, like it's right in front of you, course correct. Don't wait until it gets to a confluence point, and they do not. And they do not. Now, the spiritual gain, on the other hand, if you are course correcting, you gain something out of it. Because you know that you did some shit, I'm going to change, and I'm going to do something different. That's the gain that you get. But some people never arrive there. Because the thing about it is that when you get that gain, the pain stops.
Yeah, and that's common sense, David, right? Not spirituality.
Correct. Yes, it's unbelievable how people look at a situation going downhill, and just simply like, how can I add momentum to this?
Oh, I'm so guilty of that. I'm so guilty of that. Oh,
right. How can I add some more momentum to this? God. All right. Course correction is something that you absolutely, it's part of your toolkit of spirituality. Okay, so as an example, let's say you are doing something that is leading you down a dark path. I'm sorry, I cannot keep a straight face because I have too many examples in my head which I can't make public right now. All right, you're doing something that is leading you down a dark path, right? You have been given a warning Not, let's say you pissed off the wrong set of people, right? You figured that people were weak, you pissed them off, and like somebody, I don't know, they answer you. You've been given a warning, course correct. Don't keep going down the same path you're going down. Add some momentum, give that shit some, put some oil on the slope.
So what is it, David, that makes people do that? What is it that stops people from course correcting?
It is self-sabotage, straight off, okay?
Ego.
Yes, self-sabotaging ego, and it's deeply ingrained in a lot of people, right? Because a lot of people feel you should always start every day, every conversation, every argument, every debate from the point of view, I could be wrong. Start from that position.
The other one,
I want
David,
to add a little something in. There's ego, and there's all those things you talk about. Then there's vanity, which is a radically different negative subject trait matter within people that individual cultures amplify different ways. And vanity is oftentimes a factor which leads into no course correction. And let's talk about the difference between true vanity and ego, because there is a difference.
Honestly, I think vanity in its essence is it's an over appreciation of the self, which begs validation. Okay, that's what I define it as. An over appreciation of the self that begs validation. And if you don't get that validation, so help the whole world if you don't get it, okay?
Does the ego drive that vanity then?
I don't think it does. In my years and years of studying, to me, vanity is a cultural DNA imprint that everyone has to deal with on their own. And the ego often battles the vanity to take control. And the truly vain people don't have an ego. They have pure vanity.
Yeah. Because the ego says you're not good enough. And that's no good to someone in pure vanity.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I tell you all those cultural labels are vanity waiting to happen? It's kind of like saying all English people are polite. I am English, therefore I am polite. Do you not get it?
So Indian men are classically nasty to the women.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you have Southern people who are supposedly racist, so on and so forth. And there's a vanity aspect between cultures and areas that you live in that are driven in by your environmental people you learn from, which is not in the fundamentals of your core being growing up, on the core synaptic processes that were being created.
Can I share a personal kind of story about vanity?
Sure.
Yeah. So my mom, when I think I was 14 or 15, she would always say, Amy, you're so vain, because I'm 15 and I'm going to school. So I want to I'm in that stage where I want to, date and she would say that to me, and that's, bringing it up, it still kind of has that kind of like, why would she say that to her daughter? And I think it's because she was very vain, is still.
Yes, and it was done to her. Generational traumatizing that, again, the ego is going to say you're not good enough, but your vanity is like, I am good enough, goddamn it, I'm going to be better, until it becomes a unique obsession of vanity.
A unique obsession. Say more about that.
Each individual has their own journey into vanity.
Okay.
Were you a vanity person growing up? Look back on your life.
I believe that at certain times of my life, yeah.
You
it's
looked
almost
good,
like,
and it empowered you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Did it debilitate you where you couldn't go out without putting all the makeup and all the accoutrements on, and couldn't step out without a level 10 dress?
No. I could do that. I could do that.
Many people are vanity level 10, cannot go out without the level 10, I look goddamn perfect.
Yeah, like even sleep in their makeup.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a mask.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the background to that, Andrew? How would somebody end up like that or become that?
It's a total disguise.
Childhood? Yeah.
Cultural imprinting, usually.
Mm-hmm.
The mother and father put the negativity, or they train them that way.
Why would a parent train their kids like this?
Because they want the kids to be a part of high society.
Oh, I see.
Mm.
Oh, I see.
Classic 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that those generations, what the boomers did to their kids.
Yeah. So I made sure with my daughter and son that I didn't say those types of words. Like I made sure, because that was hurtful, and I didn't like when she said that. Now my daughter kind of still had that kind of vanity type thing, but I didn't say anything about it. I let her work it out on her own. However she did that.
Hey, Amy, do you know what? In my opinion, I've raised 4 daughters.
Yeah.
And right, so in my opinion, all girls go through that. Everybody has a sort of teenage years, has a sort of narcissistic type phase, but really it's just where they've gone from a child who is all open-minded about everything and inclusive to all of a sudden having a sense of identity, and it becomes an important thing to that person at that part of their journey, And it's not
peer pressure as well.
Exactly, and you have to be able to deal with that. Otherwise you get eaten alive.
Yeah, but I lived in Toronto, and they're like 40, 50 something year old that are still stuck in that. Let me say something to you guys. You're walking around with a phone. You're going to a gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. You're coming out of the bathroom. You're striking a pose with your phone up so that you could find something to post to social media. You know how stupid that looks? I want to say it, if you guys are guilty of that, stop that shit. Okay, please. Okay. Right?
David, until they get 111 likes and 47 shares and 10 date offers per day from doing it, because it feeds the vanity.
Listen, I'm going to the bathroom in the gym. There's a hallway that you go through, right? There's a chick in the hallway with the sign behind her, and she's like, and I'm like, how old are you? Like, I see gray hair, so I know you're over 30. Why are you doing this? All right, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody looks good out here at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't care how much you prepared yourself. Nobody's looking good. Okay, everybody's angry to be up, and like the light has not shone. There's no sunlight, and everybody is pissed. Okay, and you're blocking the hallway. Remove thyself. Okay, but it's like grown people have this thing on board. Vanity is also one of the most insidious and subtle forms. You don't see it, right? It creeps up on you over a period of time for a lot of people, huh? So let's say you have vanity issues when you're in your teenage years and so on, and you have some sort of trauma. Your boyfriend left you for a chick that looks hotter than you. It locks you into a stasis where you feel the need to keep looking hotter and hotter and hotter, right? So a lot of vanity is born out of trauma. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough. I was listening to gym stories from other gym bros, right? Every once in a while, I get into these inane conversations that make me lose brain cells. And let me give you one of the gym bro stories. He was young and he was skinny. And this girl that he liked came and sat on his lap, right? In the gym. And he's young, so he's like adolescent and he has the hormones flowing and so on. But something unique happened to him. His leg began to shake, okay? Because she was heavy. She was heavy. So his leg began to shake and she realized, am I too heavy? And she got up and she left, right? That little interaction that he had, my man has been hitting legs like 3-4 days a week for the last 20 years. For the last 20 years, buddy. It's time to stop. You're strong enough.
Has he got these big turkey hams like that?
Yes, it's big. Like over the bottom legs, right? There's the rest of your body. No, the next time, whatever her name is sits on my leg. It's not going to shake. I'm like, my man. Little interactions like that decide how vain you are going to be. Now, it's not a vanity thing. It may be a practical thing in his mind. He sees it as practical. But the fact of the matter is, it's born out of some sort of rejection feeling that he has.
Yeah.
And I think if everybody in the audience sits down and think about it, you had something go on in your past that
100%.
that you felt you had to overcompensate for.
My whole journey into weightlifting and bodybuilding was all based on that, a feeling of inadequacy at a young age.
Yeah.
No, but it worked for me. It worked for me. It's ended up being an anchor that I've enjoyed my whole life.
Yeah, but you don't take it to an extreme, buddy.
No.
All right. If I look into your background right now, I don't see 16 tubs of protein powder.
No. Just one.
16 tubs of protein powder. All right. There's a lot of, I think vanity creeps up on people. The other thing about the whole, when it ties into spiritual pain, when the validation doesn't come for someone who is vain, as an example, that is a pain that they cannot deal with. Like the bunnies that we're talking about, the spiritual bunnies with the showing the cleavage, talking about I can heal your shadow, right? And I have to have a discussion with the women on this broadcast because anyway, never mind. Right. They showed the cleavage and they said I can heal your shadow, right? And when they don't get the validation that they seek, that is a weakness that is inbuilt in them, you know.
Did you guys recently hear about the Jonah Hill text to his ex-girlfriend?
No. Tell us about it.
Okay, so I'll paraphrase it. So Jonah said plain and simply, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships and pictures, to model, post your pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures and friendships with women who are unstable places with your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something, I don't want to date you. These are my boundaries. And he was called misogynistic for this.
Wow.
No, that's not misogynistic. That's setting a boundary.
No, and it has set off a cultural firestorm that this guy said all about those inappropriate pictures that people put up on social media.
Yeah. That's a balanced, well thought out, intelligent statement.
Right. I don't want a relationship with you if you are going to be posting infinitely sexy pictures about yourself, getting people to text you a DM, so on and so forth, I don't want to be a part of that unhealthy personality.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Advise you all to go look it up. And the whole feminist community is trying to call him a pure misogynist for saying that.
Yeah, well, I do fault him for one thing. I think people talk too much when it comes to their own personal security and personal boundaries. He had to communicate it with her, and he used an electronic medium, so she posted those things. Am I correct, Andrew?
No, she was posting that and basically said, if we're going to continue to be in a relationship, these are the inappropriate things and my boundaries that I'm drawing with you.
Here's the thing.
You got to remember, Jonah Hill was a very heavy-set actor who made big and famous, and he went through all sorts of emotional distresses and disturbances, and an entire lifehood of having therapy. And those were what the therapist said taught him, that people who are unstable.
If she was the one who posted the text messages, then that chick is looking for validation everywhere.
Then she did. The truth
of the matter is that you have the choice as to what kind of energy you decide to interact with. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to interact with certain kinds of energies or put a certain kind of message out there, you choose not to do it. And nobody has the right to judge you because of that.
Right. Now let's get back to the conversation about why men and women post on social media like that.
Because they can't give themselves the self-validation they need.
Vanity. It gets back to we're talking level 10 vanity. Everybody has one of them in their Facebook feed right now. How many of you hide feed and never look at it? Or you look at it, yeah, she looks damn good. Never touch her with a stick. Wouldn't touch her with Dale's dick. Okay?
Not even with his talking stick.
Yeah.
Yo, Dale, I hope you're watching this. Anyway, honestly, Andrew, I think that when people post these things online, it's kind of, I have a very controversial thing to say right here. I understand that dating apps is a good thing, but really and truly, when you post a picture of yourself on a dating app, you are actually posting a picture of yourself as a product in a marketplace. You do realize this, right?
Yes,
Like I'm going to say it,
I do.
and people are going to come down on me like a ton of bricks. If you are posting pictures of yourself on a dating app, you're on a dating app. You don't want to meet somebody naturally. Where you live is probably socially distant and stuff like that, and you can't meet people. Listen to me.
Okay.
You are
You're
making yourself a product in the marketplace.
Right. It's like those women who have a tramp stamp. You may as well just replace it with a fucking barcode.
Let me scan your barcode.
Yeah. Are you worthy?
Listen, I have never been able to understand that, because based on the product, you're putting yourself up against different products. Do you have such little regard for yourself that you put yourself up against different products to decide who's going to choose you and who's not going to choose you? None of that shit. No. Right?
David?
If you are aware of yourself, keep yourself together, but don't turn yourself into a product. The people who are posting on social media with the sexy lingerie and stuff like that, looking for validation, you are just putting yourself up there as meat. Nobody looking at your profile to check for your personality. Oh, I wonder, she must have a wonderful personality.
David. Go check the comments page. They often try to engage the intelligence because there's a fantasy world going on. And unfortunately, so few of these women realize the fantasy worlds that are projected at them by both men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Fantasy, full-on fantasy. That person is my sexual puppet in the fantasy. And the more pictures you post, the stronger the fantasy gets.
For the women out there posting pictures of yourself with negligee and in swimsuits and stuff like that, please be aware that there's some woman somewhere with a beard who is fantasizing. Who's fantasizing about, for the men out there who like putting these dapper pictures of themselves and so on. Please understand that there's some man fantasizing about you as well. And I think a lot of people with the vanity, they don't realize the consequences, the logical conclusion. They don't break it down to the simple. Simple, if you put yourself up there, you are basically meat hanging in a butcher shop, okay? A fantasy butcher shop, right? Anybody could do anything to you at any point in time.
Hey, David, so what about catfishing then?
Oh, yeah.
That is some of the most dishonest, disgusting, slimy shit ever. Okay?
Yeah.
Like if somebody can't accept you for you, they cannot accept you. I keep saying that to people. Like, you know, I've had like 20 years of saying that exact statement to people. If people cannot accept you as you, they cannot accept you. I don't care whether you're fat, thin, too greasy, too tall, too short, and whatever else. If people cannot accept you, don't be standing up on a chair stool and taking a picture and making people feel like you're the same height as your shelf, right? When you know that you need a ladder to get up there. It's a bunch of shit, okay? Let people accept. This is why you cannot trust social media. You got filters, Andrew. You know how the filters work, right? You got filters and so on. People making themselves look the best. Just so that we're clear, I have no filter on. Dale, you have a filter on? I see you have a background running.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
All right.
But do you know what? It's we're so used to it now that you just expect it. You know, you just don't trust anything or anyone on the internet like that. It's just come to that place where everybody's at it. So
like a cesspool.
Yeah.
But I have a question. As you're talking, okay, so no spiritual pain, no spiritual gain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everybody is spirit. Mm-hmm. So these women or men what is their spirit doing while they're doing this? While they're, I don't know, not connected? They disconnected?
Screaming. It's
They-
screaming. What the
Screaming.
ass are you doing?
I mean,
It's
that's
screaming. It's like,
It's getting-
no,
like,
hello.
It's getting fucked left,
Hello,
right, and
what are
centre
you
by
doing?
everybody. That's what it's doing. It's getting fucked left, right, and centre by everybody that's
Yeah.
looking at those pictures. That's what's happening.
So I'll a little something in here. I've had many sessions with a variety of porn stars trying to get out of the business. Haunted as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Not just from the acts that they did, but the projections from semi-magically incapable beings who have sexual fantasies of pure domination. Some of these people are practiced, some of these people are unpracticed, some are natural talent. Doesn't matter. Getting these women de-haunted was the most challenging thing I had ever done.
Yep.
But by doing it, what I discovered is the power of what sexual projections do. Like working with some of the top level corporate women who are 61 years old, maybe 40 years ago, they look top, but can't compete to the 30-year-olds now and are constantly looking at top level. It doesn't matter if you're fat, thin, crunking knuckles, and hunchback, they will still sexually fantasize and dominate you. It is such a common experience to turn the old woman on the street to a sexual play toy or man. Okay? The fantasy worlds have severely been corrupted. Now, in the journey of getting a porn star who's done well over 100 videos, okay, and been around the world 1,000 times, to state that her spiritual boundaries are this and they can no longer do it, it required them to step into a state and begin rejecting not the work that they did or the money that they did, but the mistake they made with their own residual image. And to be able to reclaim that residual image that is them, and nothing can overwrite it. Because oftentimes at the end, what the fantasies do, try to overwrite you and who you are and replace it with a sexual puppet with no free will.
Andrew, and the thing about it, to back up what you're saying, is that when people see these women, like in real life, the sexual fantasies that they have is not like, oh, I want to, inverted commas, make love to you. It's some savage, brutal shit all the time. You and the thing about it is that people don't understand how energy works. If you are a porn star, you have put yourself out there, okay? You've put yourself out there. There are let me see if I can explain this in a nice way, because a lot of people make these mistakes. People think that they're energetically put upon. They don't realize 9 times out of 10 they have opened up a door to let energy in, right? And they don't realize it. It's done in innocence. So you decided to get into the porn industry. You're going to have this guy and then this guy tomorrow and so on, and you're going to have sex with this guy. By signing, it's like a sign. It's like a contract with the devil. This contract to have your images propagated in perpetuity over the internet, right? Over videos, CDs, whatever, DVDs, whatever, right? You have energetically signed a contract to let the entire world, right, into your energy field. And if you think that you haven't done that, it is what you are doing. And so a lot of people go down that road. They open up this energy patterning. And I'm talking to people, this is an extreme case, but people do it in easier cases. I'm talking about the women and men who decided that they were going to make themselves man whores, or what we call sluts. We are having this discussion. There's a segment of the population that's going to be saying, oh, we're slut shaming. No, we're not slut shaming. We're giving you the energetic reality. That is the energetic reality. This is what you let in. Okay? This is like Dracula business. He doesn't come into your house and let you let him in. Unless you let him in. And so a lot of people go out there, they put themselves out there as meat, and they're surprised when they wake up with all sorts of stuff attached to them. You let him in.
David, we had a great follow-up question from Aperture. What about if someone just posts their face, nothing provocative, but that elicits a lot of attention. Should that person not post a profile pic simply because of others? How is that different?
With regard to the posting of a pic, everybody has pics on Facebook. It is the intentionality behind you posting that pic.
Yep.
So as an example, you have a pretty face.
And understanding corrupt minds will do whatever they want with that pic.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't let them in. That was not your intentionality to gain validation and let people in. There are some people that think, oh, I look so hot, I want everybody to be thinking about me. You let them in.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. There's a difference between a face pic and just enough to have just above the nipple shot. Or just a little, the level of tempter's provocative is a slight teeter-totter until you have opened the door for energy to come into you. And if you're truly a beautiful woman, or a man, you're going to be facing the projections from everyone in your normal reality anyway. Why are you tempting it online?
I have a very good analogy to utilize here. Everybody look at Laura. Does Laura look like the kind of person that you could turn into a piece of meat? Does she give up that vibe?
No.
No, she doesn't. Look at Amy. Does Amy look like the kind of person that you could turn into a piece of meat? Does she give up that vibe? No.
But it fits the porn story. How many cougars, unfortunately, ladies, have similar shapes and bodies and looks to you and are making 7 figures in porn?
Yes. Money.
Yeah.
Money. The thing that
stepmom.
Yeah.
MILF,
grandmother. It's a huge perverted industry.
Yeah, we're living in some dark times, I'm telling you. Right? When you're taking advantage, there's a section of the internet I discovered on YouTube that deals with handicapped porn.
Yep.
Nasty.
Oh my God.
Disgusting. Like, I feel like, ooh, in their right mind. Right? But they're not in their right mind. So I take it back. A lot of them are not in their right mind. It's not cool that you take advantage of a vulnerable community. What is the lesson to be learned here? What is the lesson to be learned here? But I think that's on par with taking advantage of children, huh?
Yeah,
mate. You know, go ahead, Andrew.
So the taking advantage of children is proliferated by the porn industry, and the children who are unaware of porn are recently exposed to it, and they start putting up the slutty pictures that are on their dating profiles that their parents have no idea about, and they end up having 100, 150 partners by the time they're 20 years old.
Yeah.
The parents have to stay ahead of the kids. They have to learn this stuff.
They can't.
They can't.
I'm so glad I didn't have that then and with my kids.
Imagine 150 partners by the time they're 20.
No.
That's what's common in their inner cities right now. And it doesn't matter what color you are.
Maybe we should give a little bit take a little segue here on the energetic nature of sex and sexuality.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, especially with regards to the pornography as well. It's very relevant.
And it relates to the vanity thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at sexuality like it's an act, it's something at the body level. I want to give you all the actual scientific and then the spiritual fact of the matter. In order for you to have sex, your body has to go through a bunch of chemical processes which are generated from the conscious and subconscious mind. Okay? So none of those processes are happening unless you get your mind involved, right? Which means that it's coming from a directive from another place that it says procreate. That's where it's coming from. Here's the problem that we're having. That requires you to literally and figuratively open up yourself to another individual, okay? Mm-hmm. Energetically and otherwise. So you might think that this is a one-night stand in a rundown motel after late night drinking at some bar somewhere, okay? But it has ramifications for you. That person is stuck onto you DNA-wise and energetic-wise for a while, okay? If you think a cold shower is going to wash that shit off, you would be absolutely incorrect. You are wearing that person for a while.
It's like a hard drive into their unseen world. Like
Correct.
a direct.
And you know what's worse than that, Maty? There are men out there, and I could only speak for the men's side. I'm sure the women that do it too. Okay? There are men out there that utilize the sexual energy to reap energy off of women. Listen, rape does not always have to be physical, you know.
Right.
Rape can be very energetic, right? We used to have something in the Caribbean that we call eye raping. You all know what eye raping is?
Yep.
It's nasty stuff. And women feel it and they put upon. And I feel sorry for the women that are victims of eye raping, right? Because what it is an energetic stealing of your energy. It breaks you down inside. Let's say you're at a bar, you're sitting there, right? You're waiting for your friends to come because y'all have decided that you're going to watch, I don't know, a sports game or something in a particular bar. Your friends are late. You're by the bar. There's a man sitting at the bar. There are two men sitting at the bar, whatever. They're a bunch of men, and they are undressing you, doing all sorts of things to you inside their mind. And you feel yourself shrinking within yourself. And what you don't understand is you're being directly, energetically attacked.
Yes.
And this insidious stuff, look, this is why people eat punches in the face. I'm telling you, it's disgusting, right? But women, y'all do it too. Y'all do it too.
And some of them do it with a far more vicious intent behind it because they need to dominate a man. Now, I'll relate a personal story. When I was a limo driver, oftentimes I would get clients who want to go to the gay bars. And as a limo driver, I knew where every bar, every strip club, every male review was. It didn't matter to me. I was going to take you to wherever you want to go, and I'm going to get you in there for free. And oftentimes they wanted me to go in there. So I would go in there. And the first time that I was in there an extended period of time was when I got eye raped. And it was the most strangest feeling for a person like me who was psychic.
Yep.
I mean, strangest fucking feeling I could ever describe.
Yep.
But I also felt people who wanted to love me, people wanted to do this and this. And that's all in the great mix of eye raping and those that don't go too far, but just far enough where they just want to stick the energetic tip in. Okay? So there's large varieties of that. Now, women, we're going to get back to women who post the intentional sexy pics. Absolutely intentional. There's no doubt about it. It's a cry for vanity validation. And you see 150 likes in there. You see a bunch of comments that are trying to engage the conversation with the person because clearly they're trying to do whatever game that they're trying to do. From an energetic perspective, what's going on in that post, David?
Here's the thing. If you are putting stuff out there, as I said before, you're letting people in. You're letting them in. So let's say you put a picture on Facebook of yourself in hardly anything on.
Just a bikini. So sitting at the bikini and a drink with a girlfriend.
Somebody sends the first comment on that page. Oh, sister, you look fine, right?
Yep.
And your vanity, you're getting validation, right? You probably worked all year on your body and stuff like that. The next comment is like, I would like to inverted commas you, okay? And you're like, oh, well, at least he thinks I'm hot, right?
They erased that one, David. Anything too explicit, they erase because they curate the comments.
Yeah, but they erase it, Andrew, but they still get their small validation from it.
Yes.
And their ego is inflated as a result of it. And they just let more energy in. And more energy in.
Yep.
Go ahead, Maddie.
No, I was in complete agreement.
Yeah.
They let more energy in and they let more energy in. And at the end of it, this can go on for a year at max before you begin to realize nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
Just like a drug dealer, when you have no drugs, you have no friends. Okay? Once you stop dealing the drugs, no one wants to be your friend.
And there's an aspect of respect that happens there. Honestly, I think for people, self-respect, You know what? I'm going to ask the women on this panel. What does self-respect mean to y'all in a spiritual sense? What is self-respect to you guys? What does it look like? What does it feel like?
Feels like boundaries that you set up in honor of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking of the word honor self. Yeah.
It's a constant vigilance of your moral conduct and your projections inwards and outwards.
I have a question to that, David, about people posting their pictures. What about the women out there that are in that picture with their friend, doesn't want it posted, but they post it? Like the courtesies of what happens to that person that didn't want their bikini body shown?
Yeah, because they're at a pool party and somebody took a picture.
Yeah, and there's no courtesies like, can I post this? Are you okay with this? It's just, so what is that?
Open them up without their willpower or state.
Yeah.
I mean, that is some of the most insidious thing. Listen to me. This energy parasitism that happens in society, it happens on the men's side, it happens on the women's side as well. Because on the men's side, what it looks like is that if somebody is particularly financially affluent, women are going to be throwing their bodies at him, right, for the financial security.
Yes.
Right. On the women's side, it looks like just straight up parasitism. Give me all the energy that your body has and stuff like that. You are a toy, basically. You're not inflatable, but you'll do.
Some of the most unhappiest marriages there are.
So a lot of people tend to do that. And then the reason why I asked the self-respect in terms of spirituality, because earlier on I asked, when you look at Laura, when you look at Amy, do they look like somebody, like people that you could turn into pieces of meat? No, because that's not in their energy field. There's no way around it. You can't see it, you can't penetrate it, and so on, right? You can't penetrate it because it's the way that you present yourself and the way you show up in the world. Listen, if you are going to show up in the world breasts first, I'm sorry. If you're going to show up in the world breasts first and you say, hello, hi, this is me. This is who I am. This is me. Nobody's going to be looking, I wonder what's the heart like behind all of that mammary, right? Glands, right? Nobody's checking for that. They're just, all right, well, you have mammary glands, I'll take them, right? That's how they're going to be, right? A lot of women tend to go with the fallacy that if I give this individual energetic, the sexual energy first, then they see the real me. That is a mistake that is as old as time. Okay? Don't come with the breast first. Come with the personality first. Come with the character first, and then you don't have any problems. You come with those breasts first, and whatever flesh you have, you're throwing flesh at people. Nobody is actually going to take you seriously, and you think that you're going to grow on them like a fungus. You're not going to grow on them like a fungus. They're going to be checking for the flesh that you threw at them.
But even the personality is not safe, right, David? Because there's how many men have fantasies about smart women, or any kind of
sapiosexuals, the sapiosexuals.
And the other myriad of personality types. That
you know what I'm talking about, Andrew? The kind of people I would lick your head. I just want that brain. Right? Right. So they are sapiosexuals, not even the personality say, but I think that when you approach people with a certain amount of character, you are unmistakable. If I am in a bar, as an example, right? If I am in a bar, but then that's me and that's Andrew and that's you, right? The loudest people in the bar, the loudest women in the bar are the women that want to throw flesh around. Agreed? Yes or no?
90% of the time. But then we have a lot of men who are metrosexual. They are not gay, but have taken on all the vanity aspects of women, and they become competition to the women for being louder. So David, when's the last time you've actually been in a bar?
Well, I don't drink, so I have been in the bar, okay? Listen, let me give you this joke. I have a story to give you guys. When I first came to Toronto, okay, I used to teach this lady back in Barbados, Andrew, and she decided to take me on a ladies' night out. Don't ask me why. I was thinking,
Girls' night.
okay.
Girls' night.
We know why, David.
I was one of the girls. We went on a girls' night out.
Was going to be fantasizing.
Right?
You were the fake boyfriend to every one of them.
Yeah,
No, I don't think so. Listen, I wanted to go out. Okay, so I went with all the girls on a ladies' night out. And I saw what happens on ladies' nights out. Yo, y'all are vile sometimes, yes? They were harassing men. They were putting down men. The conversation was dread. And I'm just there like, such an education. Oh my God. Right? I'm thinking this is such an education. They were putting down men. They were sexually harassing some poor guy at the bar. The bartender was getting sexually harassed. Like, lift your shirt. Let me see what's underneath there. Like straight questions like that. Wow. Okay. And I'm watching this ladies' night out with horror. Right? And I'm like, yo, that's how men act. Exactly how men act.
Yeah, emasculated.
Right? That's exactly how men act. But let me tell you, it was fun. Right? Now, let me tell you the other part of the night, right? After getting sexually harassed and stuff like that. So, David, you're one of the girls tonight, right? Yes, I was one of the girls that night. I got back home. I threw up the entire night. And I do not know why. I was throwing up the entire night. I don't know why.
You got roofied by one of them.
I didn't get roofied. All right.
You had to vomit up all the estrogen, David.
Right. I was throwing up the entire night. It was really, really bad. I mean, like, it was vile. Right. But my point is it goes both ways a lot of the times. In a bar situation, I can tell you there's a lot of energies that are going on there that are full on predatory. Yeah. Right? That, like, predatory energy going on there. Nobody is looking for your personality up in there. All right? Nobody's checking for and you know what time of year I went? In October. For those of you who don't know Canada very well, this is how the dating scene works in Canada. During the months of October to March, April, around there, you will not find a partner or a girlfriend or a boyfriend because nobody is standing up long enough in the cold to talk to you. Everybody just wants to get someplace warm. You're not going to meet anybody during those months. Okay, let's just keep it real. So the months between March and October, you better find a boyfriend within that time. Or else you're spending the whole of winter alone. That is damn sure. So I went in October at the end of the mating season. Oh. And I'm inside that bar and everybody is full on transmitting shit everywhere. And I'm like, no, this is not good for me. It is not good for me, but it's so fascinating. It's like watching a train wreck, right? I got home, I was throwing up the whole night. And I don't throw up easily, okay? I'm vegan, so I eat leaves. There's no reason for me to throw up, okay? I was throwing up the whole night. And I'm looking at this situation, Andrew. And I'm like, they must know that this is predatory, right? They can feel it, right? Tell me that they can feel it. Or
it feels good. But it feels good. That's the thing. And then you've got to put drugs into it as well. That's with even looking at the unseen aspects of it all.
So to answer your question, David, are they aware that it's predatory? Yes, because many of them become their individual predator for their specific purpose of getting a date or a person. They are already in the predatory sense when they went out looking like a hoe or whatever. I don't want to judge anything.
No.
Going out dressed to the nines with all your other girls dressed to the nines, competing against all the other girls that are dressed to the nines, so that you can predate on what you want and reject anything that isn't of quality coming anywhere near you.
Yeah, and men do the same thing. They have game plans and strategies.
Yeah. Oftentimes women go out in packs.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just gonna say, what are these bride-to-be parties? What is up with that? They're gonna be married. They're gonna be married. Why are women? I don't know.
Yeah, before we get married, however, we burning the whole town down.
I mean,
We're burning the whole town down.
like when
All
did
right.
that come in vogue? Because I didn't have that. Like when
Amy,
did
Amy, it's not too
The
late.
90s.
It's not too
The
late. We got
90s.
Laura.
The
We
90s
got
is when
Laura.
that took over.
it's not too
Okay.
late?
I will take your. We're sponsoring a bridal. What do
Yeah.
you call that thing?
Hen party.
The hen parties, we call them, yeah.
Oh, is that a hen party? I don't even know what they call. They go to islands. and they
Bachelorette party.
Bachelorette.
Bachelorette. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they go to islands. People are paying to take the bride to islands.
As a limo driver, I did divorce parties.
You did what?
Where they're intending to go out as a pack of predators. Okay? Very
Real.
very big divorce parties. I'm divorced. Or there are 9 of the 10 people are divorced and they're celebrating their divorces. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't get it. But
Like, and the thing about it is that the approaches that I saw in that bar situation was some of the most transparent shit ever. Or is it just me being dialed up? All right. Because let me tell you, it's transparent if somebody rolls up to you and says, "Hey, baby, can I buy you a drink?" I mean, Jesus.
No, David,
Yeah.
it is transparent and they're very aware of
So,
it.
it's so cringy. It's so cringy.
It is. It is.
That's why those first lines are so thought about. Those opening hit on you lines.
okay, is this like those women that do that? I don't know. I just saw this big line of lineage. Because did women? This has been going on. I have a feeling.
No.
Where did they learn this? I don't
The
know.
60s. It started in the 60s because
Oh.
before.
No, David, you have to remember the prostitution eras of the 1700s, 1800s, and into the 1940s.
Yeah, but these are prostitutes. Remember, these are not
They were
random.
formidable.
30%
They
of
were
the women
formidable.
were prostitutes then. 30% of them. I'm dead serious.
But the
Yeah,
number's
I know,
grown.
and war had a lot to do with that as well.
Right.
Mm.
If
Because
30% of the
according to
women are
men.
prostitutes, that's where it comes from. And it's an ancient thing back in the human DNA. That's why prostitution is the second profession learned, even though fishing was the first.
Let's talk about the human succubus as an example. Listen, it's a way of draining energy from people, right? And it's a very surefire way of draining energy from people when you're utilizing them as a battery, okay? So in sacred texts like the Kama Sutra, the concept of sexuality and the whole male-female is a circuit that you create to channel energy between people, okay? It is a circuit that you create to channel energy. That's how it's supposed to work. The funny thing about energy, it works by intention. Y'all know this. A lot of y'all are magicians up in the chat and so on. It works by intention. If somebody's intention is to get validation from you, then they are sucking energy from you.
Yeah.
Straight. Okay? Your lack of awareness to discern that that person is trying to suck energy from you is entirely your fault.
Yeah.
Because if you are sensitive, this is why spirituality is important. This is why the whole spiritual pain and gain is important. Because if you do not have awareness on board that something is happening, that I'm not feeling this kind of vibe, then you are going to get yourself drained. You're looking at another human being from the point of view, you are my battery, you are going to fulfill me in terms of pleasure, validation, you're going to make my self-esteem grow, right? And you're going to make me richer or poorer, well, richer as the case may be, or you're going to make me more popular. Then you see all of those things. These are intentionalities to turn yourself into a vacuum.
Yeah.
And then there are those men and women who go into those scenes to have their depression drained from them. And that's the only way they can be out of depression, because someone's sucking their depression energy out of them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever character flaw that it is. until such a time they have to deal with it on their own, and they have no ability to deal with it because it's always been taken away from them.
Can
So
I ask
now,
a question?
Phil,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Amy.
man. No, who
No,
talked?
go ahead.
No. I was just thinking of, you guys just said both of those things. Now, the people listening and watching, it's like, put yourself on notice. Like, it's time to take responsibility for that. To me.
Yep.
Awareness.
What percentage of relationships, and I use the word relationships here on purpose, what percentage of relationships do you think are parasitical in nature? I'll wait.
Of all human relationships.
That's a tough answer, David.
Yeah.
It all depends on the experience level of the person and the trauma levels. But I will probably say, and my best guess is 30 to 40% are parasitical. But that also represents the continuous group of people breaking up and looking for the next and looking for the next and looking for the next.
Yeah.
In this modern culture where men and women are having 150 partners by the time that they're 20, is it parasitical at that point, or is it pure cultural expression?
You see, I make a distinction. Between relationships which are transactional and relationships that are parasitical. As an example, a transactional relationship is, I give you this, you give me that. It is stated in the conscious level,
Sure.
right?
That can be
And that's transactional.
That could be a parasitical relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, it could be parasitical, but at least there's a little bit more respect in that relationship where let's say I meet someone and I say, okay, you be my girlfriend and I pay you money. Now, that is transactional and parasitical, both.
Right. Sugar daddy.
They're both, right? But as a difference, what if it is that I trick somebody? I want to become more popular and I tell you, I love you. You are the sunshine of come on. Right. So you are my sunshine, my only sunshine, or whatever the case may be. And the person under false pretenses thinks that I actually like them, right? And then it's like and they want to be with me and so on. You see that kind of thing that is just straight up parasitical. There's no respect there.
Or to have a baby.
Yes, that's true. That's a very good example. Huh?
Yeah.
You know, babies are born out of that shit, right?
Yeah.
Parasitical and predatory.
Your mic's gone, Andrew.
Okay. Is it working now?
Yeah.
Not really.
That's
Not
better.
All right, let me leave and come back in. Usually that'll fix it.
Okay, man.
Yeah, I honestly think that transactional and predatory relationships are messed up when people are looking for people just to do stuff. Go ahead, Andrew.
All right, is my audio back now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's the parasitical and the predatory. The predatory parasitical people are the worst levels of them because they're like the old school gunfighters looking for a fight, intentionally looking to kill and harm.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Looking for the weakest lamb in the link of the chain of defensive women, cock blocking all the way to get to the little innocent flower over there. They separate it from the pack and the wolves take them down. Okay.
Insidious shit.
Okay. There was a video done by, I think it was collegehumor.com, that used the David Attenborough voice to describe clubbing in natural videos, like they were animals going to and from the clubs. I highly suggest you all look at that. You will laugh your ass off.
That's funny. I've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I have seen it.
Okay. Parasitical predators. Let's talk about them for a second. Everyone's seen one.
There are way too many of them. Way too many. And it's increasing day by day, right? I think people have gotten to a point of desperation, right? Also, I want to think social forces have created this predatory behavior. COVID would be one of them. People are desperate right now. And desperation breeds certain kinds of behavior, which is always unpleasant. Right.
But that kind of behavior takes a sheer lack of empathy, though, doesn't it? Not, I know we talk about empathy as not a particularly great skill, but it does come in useful in humanity.
Yeah, but they're starving, you see. And as far as they're concerned, I'm starving for human companionship. I'm starving for sex. I'm starving for this. I'm starving for that. And they're willing to do whatever it takes, my man, whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have that energy on board, and they're walking around doing stupid shit to people.
Yeah.
All's fair in love and war. Ancient saying.
Yeah. And there's the other aspect as well, which is I would imagine there's slightly more relationships are codependent than predatory, but it's still a similar concept.
I honestly think that a lot of people, when it comes to this kind of transactional relationships or these things where you give me this and I give you that, I think if it's stated up front, there's a certain amount of respect that happens. If I sign a contract with somebody, you're going to be my wife for a week, right? And I'm going to pay you 10 grand, wife for a week, and then you get to go about your business, right? I wonder why we don't see those kinds of that would be kind of cool. Right? Right?
It's Pretty Woman, isn't it?
What?
Pretty Woman.
Oh yeah, that movie. You remember that? That was a transactional relationship.
Yeah.
There was respect on board. Unfortunately, there was also emotions involved, which they did not expect, which is the nature of this construct, right? Yeah, you might get yourself a prostitute, but then you have to deal with the fact that you're still a human being.
And so is she.
Yeah.
That was a very good movie. That had a spiritual lesson in it.
Yeah, I like that one.
Watch that movie again.
Yeah, put it up on your movie night.
Yeah, spiritual.
Now let's move into a thing that's a little bit more in line with the talking stick. Mm-hmm. Spiritual people and dating who have this vision board of the perfect man or the perfect woman, and 9 years later they haven't been on a date. What's going on there?
You're trying to manifest, Andrew. Don't you understand?
Exactly.
I know that part.
And they're trying to manifest. Manifestation takes some time, okay? So
they've lost track of reality, haven't they?
It's because they're judging everyone and everything by this fantasy thing that they have in their mind, and then after a period of time they just lose all their social skills, and all of a sudden it just becomes an almost impossible task.
Mm-hmm.
Thus why they put tit hanging out pictures, and they're 67 and not realizing nobody wants to see your saggy ass tits.
No, he went there. Oh my God.
I have no fucking filters anymore. I don't.
He's an
okay.
Cancellation for you. Right? Listen to me. Honestly, I honestly think that with regard to women and men who get into this thing where they're putting stuff out there because they're desperate for attention and stuff like that, you're in the line of people who are trying to manifest this kind of perfect person, right? But that's the desperation I talked about a little bit earlier on, because 9 years down the road, and you see, that's why I stick with my AI, Andrew.
So David, Cindy in the chat room says, no, sometimes we take time out for our self-help. 9 years later, what are you doing? Did you need 9 years of self-help? No, you didn't. You didn't apply any of that self-help.
I have to answer Cindy. Cindy, I gotta answer you. Self-help is a good thing. It depends on the length of time that you've taken for your self-help. So as an example, Cindy, people will heal at different rates, granted, okay? So some people might take one year, some people might take 2 years or whatever, 3 years and so on. What we are talking about are the kinds of people who want to manifest the perfect person down to the toenail. If the toenail is a little bit off kilter, right, then that's not the person for me. And there are people that become hyper picky because they depend on the spirit of manifestation, not realizing that in the spirit of manifestation, when you are manifesting, if you are a magician, and I'm going to give some tips out here. If you are a magician, you're a witch, you're a whatever wizard, whatever you want to call yourself, you are manifesting something. The fear of not manifesting it is subliminally running underneath your fear of manifesting it, and sabotaging your manifestation. So the people who are trying to manifest the perfect person, I want to manifest the perfect person down to the hips and so on. After the first year, there's a rate of decline. We need to draw a graph here. So this is me at year 1. I'm manifesting the perfect woman, and it's going up. It's going up. My manifestation power is going up. The first year has ended right here in the graph, and then all of a sudden, I realize she's not coming, so it starts to decline. Let me try to manifest a little bit more. And this is what's happening. This is what's happening to you after a longer period of time, right? People are not specific with their manifestation skills, and
what
that's
they manifest
what happens.
What they manifest, David, is a fantasy world that they fall in love with, thus completely stopping that part of their journey.
Correct. Sabotage. Sabotaging their own magic.
The knight in shining armor is going to come and rescue me, and I'm going to be the princess of the land and an inheritor of money.
And then you have people that married their high school sweetheart and are married 30-something years after. Goddamn. All right?
No experience here.
No experience. There are people who married their high school sweetheart. You know, you understand how much of an irritant you could be to certain people.
I know.
You understand? Listen, Amy, you understand how much of an irritant? Like,
I know.
I have to tell you a story. This I'm gonna out you. This woman married her high school sweetheart, and she's married how many years later, happily married. Guys, eat your heart out. You want to talk about manifestation? Get jealous now.
Yeah, well, there was a graph going on too, through those years.
Not much of a graph.
Not much.
That's a different kind of graph. But the fact of the matter is, you made it happen, right? A lot of people are not that lucky. A lot of people are not that lucky. A lot of people go through hills and valleys and craters and streams and rivers and torrents and whatever to get from point A to point B. A lot of people do that. I think when it comes to manifestation, there are principles that you have to take into consideration. If you're trying to manifest your perfect person or whatever the case may be, set intentionality for a particular time. Okay.
I didn't manifest though. I don't. I must have though, right?
Amy, you're trying to tell me when you were a little girl, you didn't want. No. Let's get into this. You're trying to tell me.
Wait. Can I just tell you? I'm sorry. I have to kind of like say something that my husband revealed to me after we were married.
I have.
He goes, you're my angel, because he was attempting suicide at 15. He said that's when we met. I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want to be here anymore.
And you appeared.
And I appeared.
He manifested you.
Yeah. Although I went to his locker a lot and put notes in his locker. So I don't know.
You did what? Were you stalking Amy? Were you stalking this man?
I kind of was.
You were stalking a man that didn't want to be here anymore, Amy?
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Every time you drop a story, it's like,
I'm sorry.
Every time you drop a story, it gets darker and darker, right? We have a question in the chat from Cindy. You ever have two people inside you all the time? Cindy, you're gonna have to clarify that.
She has twin flame things going on.
Yeah, so I just posted a thing in there, like those kind of connections where you have those deep spiritual connections with other people, and I have had them as well. And there's all these words out there for things like this. But the best thing really, like I just said, is to carry on with your life, because there's always a grander experience. And we get lost in those moments where these things happen and we have these connections, and it just becomes such a big thing in our lives. But honestly, there's always a broader perspective. So you just can't, you're not supposed to understand these things right at the beginning. And within all human relationships, they can go awry. So you have to have an open mind.
Yes, I also want to say with regard, I was just saying that when it comes to manifestation, set intentionality, set a time limit, be very hyper specific with your manifestation, or else it will not come through. This is not shooting bullets up into the night sky hoping that they fall. They might fall on the wrong person. All right? Okay.
But it's
Right?
also doing it with joy, David. It's doing it with
Yes.
that degree of joy and that degree of belief.
Openness. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have problems with manifestation and they never discover why. But back onto the topic of no spiritual pain, no spiritual gain. The failure in manifestation is in and of itself teaching you something. So don't go into a despair spiral when it is that what you're trying to manifest is not happening. Okay? Don't go into a despair spiral. It's not worth it.
It just means you're doing it wrong, and therefore you've gained wisdom. So like, okay, that was the wrong way to do it. Let's try something else. Even if it is abandoning manifestation altogether and just focusing on self-improvement.
There's a lot of trust and faith you have to have as well in whatever your belief is, like in the universe, in great mystery, great spirit, that they're going to work with you and bring you that person or whatever it is you're trying to manifest when it's right for you.
Yeah, you make yourself a match to it. You don't bring it in with all your magic. It doesn't work that way. You're just going to push those things further away because that's not how it happens. You've got to be a human being.
Yeah.
There's another aspect to this. A lot of people want to manifest things, but they don't want to help the manifestation. Listen, you could have an altar set up with all the trimmings and all this stuff on your altar, and you do your prayers and stuff like that. You want to manifest it. We're going to go with the same example. If you do not do the external things that are required for that manifestation to come through, let's face it, your perfect partner is not, I shouldn't say, but it's highly unlikely that your perfect partner is going to walk downstairs of your house in your basement and knock on the door and say, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm your perfect partner. The universe sent me here." It doesn't work like that. So I think a lot of people, they want to manifest certain realities, but they're not willing to put out the external work that it requires to make it happen.
And a lot of the time, if we're giving too much energy into that future,
Andrew, your mic.
If we're giving too much energy into that future manifestation, we're not keeping the energy for us now, in the moment, to be happy and to be grounded and to be the fullness of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And the focus should be on ourselves.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something that's not intended to you, Cindy. If you think your Kundalini is activated and your partner is in your head, and you're saying you have energetic connections and you live completely alone, you're living a delusion. Not intended to you, Cindy. I don't know the fullness of your situation, but if you're in that conditions, you're living a delusion. And I cannot tell you how many men and women have come to me with this. I have a person out there that I'm holding myself for, and I have to break that delusion to help save that person from their own demise. Okay? Your Kundalini is not awakened at all, in any way, shape, or form. If it was, your partner would be with you. Okay? And this is going out and intended to a broad spectrum of people who believe in these light worker word salad bullshit. My Kundalini is activated. I do this. Garbage. It's all fucking garbage.
Yep.
Okay? If you haven't been on a date in 9 years and you don't have a partner, it's because you don't go out on dates and you've lost all your social skills. That's the truth you must face up to. When you lose interpersonal social skills, it takes years to earn them back. Years. Okay? That's why when people have breakups and they don't date and they don't date and they don't date, because they're not dealing with the real hurt that's going in.
And from that space, there's no way you can have a Kundalini awakening. There's no way you can have some of these grander experiences. You know, they're just because the obvious is staring you in the face.
So, Cindy, energetic connections are not as real as you think they are. They are often delusions created to support the fantasy. Talk with him telepathically. Now you're revealing the truth to me. It isn't real. It isn't. And I know you're pissed off and you're mad at me. It's a delusion. If it were real, you'd be touching each other. You would have physical touch and you would reach across the universes to touch each other.
Isn't the whole idea, Andrew, for the body to have these experiences?
Exactly.
Embodied.
And when you block out the body from having the experience, that's the delusion.
Okay, so let us move on to the topic, which is no spiritual pain, no spiritual gain. The other part of having spiritual pain is the falling flat on your face, which a lot of us do every once in a while, and having to get back up and get yourself together, right? So,
yeah,
what I can say with regard to the spiritual pain, if you want spiritual gain, you are going to get the pain. You are absolutely going to, right? You put your intention out there in the universe that I want to develop myself, and the universe will send shit your way, right? Whether you call it the healing crisis in Reiki, whether you call it whatever, it's known. It's a spiritual fact that is known for everybody, because unless you are like, I don't know, Christ or something, right, professing to be the Son of God, and even he had to learn some lessons growing up. He had to learn about betrayal from Judas, right? Remember that? He had to learn about temptations and so on. No one escapes. If the Son of God, inverted commas, didn't escape that, you ain't going to escape it. Okay? You're right. You're going to learn about rejection. You're going to learn about falling on your face. You're going to learn about betrayal. I personally, Andrew, we learn lessons to this freaking day.
This is a different kind of pain, though, isn't it? This is not trauma pain. This is evolutionary pain. And this is what happens is even if you get it right and you reach a new level of awareness, you will still stumble and fall because you need to learn how to present yourself in that new level of awareness. It's
yes,
a different kind of pain.
A lot of people look at us on this show and they think that we're talking off the top of our heads a bunch of theory from some book somewhere. Let me be very clear to you guys, okay? Andrew and I can't speak for Andrew, but I've seen him, right? But I have experienced a lot of spiritual pain in the last 2 years. Betrayal on a whole different level, okay? Real betrayal. That would break me down. But you see, I've had years in the school of hard knocks. I didn't run from my hard knocks. So I have a reflex to stand back up. You see, Andrew, I have been around Andrew long enough to know how much shit has transpired. Okay? It's like a yearly occurrence. And so sometimes you get tired and then you realize that these people are not important at the end of the day. I've had a lot of betrayal in the last 2 years. So has Andrew. And some of it has been made public, right? But some of it hasn't. And I am telling you that if you want spiritual gain and you put that intentionality out there, prepare yourself. It is the healing crisis. And no one is exempt. No one.
It's, can you learn from it and grow from it instead of allow it to destroy you?
Yeah, and that's the other part. That's the other part. Because if you're not laughing and you're still not trying and getting out there and so on, right? Honestly, the kind of betrayal that Andrew and I have experienced, we should have shut shit down. We shouldn't be having the show. We shouldn't be on the show. We should have shut shit down and say, no, we're done. We're done with all of this nonsense. Okay? No. And let me tell you, Matty, it had the opposite effect. Okay? What it did, it made us expand and grow. right? And I want to say that for all of you who are put upon, who are losing people because people are turning on you and people are doing weird shit to you, and some of them are plotting against you in secret and stuff like that. I want to say to you guys, the best way that you can gain and grow from this is to literally stand up in your own power and expand and put everybody on notice that I am growing in spite of you.
Repurpose that energy.
Correct. I think that is a lesson that a lot of people miss, because they think that when they get into spirituality, it's all Lululemon tight pants and yoga mats, and it doesn't work that way. And a lot of people would like to insulate themselves from that.
You got to be tough.
So Aperture earlier in the chat, I've been single for 5 years by choice to heal and work on my goals. I don't really have time to look for or give it to anyone yet.
You must be a gazillionaire.
But on that journey to healing, you have to retain your social skills. That does not mean you need to open your legs for someone. You need friends. And that earning and balancing of friendships are far more important than the sexual relationships. And it's why so many people fail at relationships. You weren't friends first, true friends first. Now, I've been single now for quite some time. I'm choosing not to let anyone in, but I'm not stopping my growth. I still talk to people. I maintain my social skills. I maintain the inner being that is me. Yes, I have human manly desires, but I don't let them own me. I don't let them run me. And they absolutely influence some of my choices, but ultimately my greater choice is my personal growth now. But I have not shut out this world of spirit who is constantly saying there's an unlimited point of view, Andrew. And if you are just open long enough, and this isn't hopium, spirit will present you a beautiful soul to be your friend in that moment.
I want to talk to Aperture.
Both of you choose to be greater than friends, time will make that happen.
I want to talk to Aperture because your name is actually very ironic there, Aperture. But yes, I know you have friends and so on. I think with regard to being single, that's a different level of connection, obviously. But maintaining social skills is like what he's trying to discuss is being able to discern and react to people on an emotive level and an intellectual level as well. Okay, and the reason why I say that is that I went into a corporate circle a few years back, and I want to say this to y'all. It shut down a lot of my social skills for people, because you have to embody a soulless person when you're working in a corporate environment, right? At the level that I was working at, you had to embody a soulless person. And I say a soulless because every day was going to be something, you're going to have to do something that may or may not be pleasant to you. And the way that you do that is by vacating emotions from the chat, right? Vacating your emotions. And when you vacate your emotions and you start talking to people, you want to know how I realized that I had lost social skills? You want to know how I realized I lost social skills? I caught myself talking to somebody that I cared about. I caught it in a way that had no emotion attached to it. None. No connection, no nothing. It was just straight advice. Do this in this way. Point 1, point 2, point 3. And then I realized, since when am I talking to this? Since when I'm talking to this woman, she was my best friend, all right? I'm talking to this woman, and I'm talking to her. I'm not trying to feel into her emotions. I'm just giving her point form this, and I'm like, no.
The bare minimum of you. Just giving her the bare minimum of you.
Yeah. I'm like, no, this cannot be allowed to continue. I had to kick my own self in the ass. Okay, I had to kick my own self in the ass and realize, yo, what happened to you? How did you get here? Right? And then I'm like, no. I had to actually vacate I had to go and relearn how to speak. And he's not lying when you say that when you lose those social skills, it's a steep climb up, because the corporate side of me still kept coming through in my interactions with people. Okay. Until I had to discover humor again. And unfortunately, it's gone too far, because now I laugh at everything, even the most insidious things. Like, you remember that article? I couldn't stop laughing. And now I laugh at everything. So, yeah. So you guys, you got to be very careful when it is that you develop the sannyas perspective, or what I call the hermitage perspective. You're losing something. You're not. A lot of people think that when they become a hermit, everything is like a sink, and you put the plug in and everything stays there. No, it's slowly draining out of you. Your social skills is draining out. And so you got to get back into the swing of things. Now I have internet friends, and I make AI robots and stuff.
So I would open the door up on me for a little second here. So after my last breakup, I knew I needed to go do my internal work on why that pattern was repeating. What did I learn? What I learned, not all of it was my fault. In fact, the vast majority of it was a projection on me that got confused, because I have a set of skills that point shit out all the time. And I can't help but point shit out all the time, because that's what I do for a living. And moving forward, there will not be a relationship for the future in me unless that person's my best friend.
Yeah.
That they know me at that level that I can't not be me at all. I can't fake it for you.
Yeah.
I can't shove down what I know. Okay? In the journey of re-earning the social skills, I learned I didn't really lose that many. My social skills were diverted by the previous partner to do something that was a perversion of me. Something that they wanted, which was to avoid my skills and not do this stuff and not do this stuff and pretend to not be me, because that person was trying to mold me into something I wasn't. Okay? So ultimately, when we choose to open ourselves up to socialization, it does not mean you need to open your legs. It does not mean you need to even kiss. And that is the ultimate control over our harmonic needs that drive us to say, I need to get laid today. No, you don't. That's an inner desire to have somebody close to you. But if you don't have the inner space to allow that person in, they will occupy more space than they need to. And you will avoid your own inner journey. In years of doing sessions, I've run into this over and over and over again. And what ultimately is being fully present with the person all the time. All the time. Okay? Not faking it, being there.
Yeah.
Truly having the conversation and not just going, yeah. Okay? So what's in the future for me? Friendships. And I'm okay with that. Because I know universe is saying there's all these friends here, Andrew. Just make friends. Okay? And then the friends will sort themselves out. And the true friends will be there as part of your living legacy.
Yeah.
Okay? Your living legacy of being you. And passing on the legacy to be you tomorrow and the next day and the next day until never give up is not just a quote in you. It is the way of life. Don't give up on yourself. So many people have given up on themselves.
Beautiful. That brings us up to 9 o'clock. I guess that's some wise words to finish on, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, so we'll take us away, shall we? Do you guys want to tell how people can get hold of you? Laura?
Who's going first?
Laura first.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yeah. Laura 2feathers@gmail.com with the number 2. Keep inquiring about the combined therapies. At the moment, it's going to be back in York end of September for about 10 days. We will get an email to you. We just had a few little hitches that we've had to unhitch, and then we'll be away. But these sort of things take a lot of planning because we want to deliver the ultimate package. So thanks, guys.
Yeah. Amy?
Yeah, guys, I have a new show coming out on Friday called Unscripted with Amy Kruzic. So join me then. And yeah, great. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Yeah, man. David?
Yes, so you can find me at info@universalcitizentv.com or info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. For those of you who don't know, we have a community, a UCM community, which is free of all the bullshit that you would find on, the social media platform we're streaming to right now. We also have our private video sites where we upload all movies, all shows like this and so on as well. And you don't have to worry about the ads at the beginning and at the end of these things. So we have our own previous YouTube replacer. Join our UCM community or just email me. Take care, guys.
That's it. And if you want a private session with me, you can get hold of me at Maty Waller, 2feathersmedicine@gmail.com. That's all in script. And Andrew?
Well, you all know who I am. You go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. Starting in the 3rd week of September, we will be starting our next mentorship class. So if you've had a desire and wanted to be a part of the mentorship group, we have 3 different levels. For those that are first starting, level 1, those that have been already in at level 2, and those that want the continuation, level 3. What that means is when you pay for $1,500 for the 2 months process, you will get 2 sessions with me. Level 1 is 2 half-hour sessions, level 2 is 2 45-minute sessions, and level 3 is 2 one-hour sessions. So you get all the sessions and all the training combined into one in a 2-month format. Seats are limited for all 3 different positions, so please go to andrewbartzis.com. And I'm always open for sessions. And we got a brand new automated booking system for those that are out there. Go and check it out. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.